Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Ladies of a Legacy. I tell you, I have truly been blessed by these amazing women that joined this project, joined this special edition of the magazine. We're going to be sharing 61 amazing women from around the world that are definitely creating and leaving a legacy. I'm super excited to be able to share with you guys today Miss Kern Sherry. I'm excited to bring her on today because I've watched this amazing woman of God across her various platforms. She is definitely impacting and inspiring lives around this globe. And super excited to be able to share her with you guys today. So I'm going to move out the way and allow her to come up and introduce herself to you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing, Angela? Thank you for having me on. I am so excited to be here and to be able to share with your tribe and my tribe and everybody else that's tuned in. So welcome on in, come on in. I'm Kearn Cherry. They call me the Butts in the Seat Queen. I am the one of the co-founders and creator of the Success Women's Conference, where we had over 17,000 virtually in 2020, and we have just been growing ever since. When we're actually live in person, we're in Biloxi, Mississippi, which is about an hour from New Orleans, Louisiana. And so I am also the producer and creator of Level Up Summit, which is coming to you this March. It'll be March the 25th and 27th. So make sure you mark your calendar, and you can go right now to the number 2, levelup.com and register so that you don't miss a minute of what's coming out. We're going to be doing some things different. So make sure you join us there. And we have Power Up Summit, which is coming to you in July the 27th through the 31st. That's right. It'll be 5 days versus 3. So make sure you write that down. And of course, you can go to powerupsummit.com right now and register for that as well. Then Success will be back in September. And then I have a client that has her conference, Sister Leaders Conference, that'll be coming to you in October. I am so thrilled. I often teach people on how to create their own profitable event. That's what I do. It's all about, for me, creating platforms for people to share and share their message on as well. So I coach on that, and I actually have group coaching coming up in April. You can still go to my website at kerncherry.com in order to find that. That's kerncherry.com. You can pretty much find everything there. In addition, I'm also a visibility coach, because what I do and believe, I make sure that I push out and teach others as well. It's time for you to stop being that best kept secret. And if you're looking for anthology to be a part of, I have the newest one coming up called Undefeated. And I am doing an author call tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Time. 7 p.m. Central Time. And so you can feel free to join me on that call as we learn about the 100 women that will be sharing their secrets of winning. I'm looking for 100 women. It's more than a feasible project for all you women out there, women of all walks. I'm looking for moms who've had success with their kids or having success with their kids. I'm looking for business owners who has had success, even if it's different points of your business, your career, whether you're making a career move or made a career move, or maybe you retired and had a successful career. We want to hear what you have to share. You're a nonprofit or a church, and you're running it and you've had some successes with it. Share that. Whether, the Bible says you always go through peaks and valleys, you always have trials and tribulations, but it's what you share out that helps other with their movements as well, so others can share, so God can get the glory. It's what I always say, share your story. So when you're sharing an anthology, that's what you're doing. You're giving testimonies of what God has done for you in your life. Yes, we share our little valleys as well, but then we can show how we came through the valley. So anyway, so that's kind of me. That's what I do. Just sum it up. I'm also a home care owner, PR and home care, which we run for over 25 years. I've been in healthcare 35 plus years as well. And so, yes, that is my main business, running all underneath everything else. So thank y'all for being here. Looking forward to sharing more with y'all today on what's coming up. Don't forget, I'm calling for speakers, y'all. We're calling for speakers too. All right.
I tell you, you have a lot going on, and I am so proud of you. You are doing a lot to help impact individuals. You're pushing individuals. This is the season for people to come out of that box,
Yes.
and to step out on faith.
Yes.
So I definitely want to help you push those 100 people that you need to come on, and to come out the closet, because I'm also getting ready. We're getting ready to go into prayer, 121 days of prayer. And after we come out of prayer, we're going to be producing another anthology. This is going to be book 2 for us. So I'm definitely going to be pushing that for you,
Absolutely.
because it's very important that people understand the power of collaboration in this season.
And a book is a collaboration. Anthology is a collaboration. We're going to do some different things with that anthology. So I want to encourage y'all, don't miss your opportunity, because I did offer it for a low rate normally than I normally do. It's only $600 to join. It's got payment plans with it as well. But you're going to see some things that I haven't done. And I'm really big, like you are, Angela. You understand promoting. And a lot of people don't get that, but going on podcasts, doing interviews and things like that, and maybe you don't know where to start, but a lot of my people started with me in an anthology. And I can tell you, Angela, I'm not a big fan of writing, but it's a God mission, because he's the only one that told me you need to do anthology. And then he sent me somebody so that I can get used to doing anthologies as well. So I am, it really is for other people to get their message out there, to share their story. That's why I do book anthologies, really, to be honest. That is my real reason why I do it.
And that's my whole reason behind why I do anthologies as well, to give other people an opportunity to share their story,
Exactly.
and give them a platform, to where some people think that they don't have a voice, and we're
Exactly.
just an outlet for them
Yes.
to be that. So yes, you're definitely doing that, and I applaud you for all that you're doing. You are definitely leading the way for many to come behind you. So I tell you to keep setting the bar high, and
Mhm.
keep reaching for the stars, because you are definitely leading the way for many. Know that we're watching. We see you. We see you. You're doing an amazing job. So
And, and,
thank you. Thank you so much for what you
thank
do.
you. Thank you. And that does push me to do more, because I realize that a lot of people, uh, just like with events, when I create events and stuff, most people don't have the experience that I have. I've been doing that for 20 plus years. And so for me, I look at all of it as an opportunity to show people how to level up what they're doing. Stop settling for the basic. Stop being comfortable with where you are, and push the comfort zone. We look, COVID gave us, if anything else, the ability to go global, and to have people tuned in to what we're saying, versus what everybody else is saying. And that's why I keep telling people, your time is when? Now. Your time is now. We don't have, you can't go out and just hang out all day and all night like you used to. I mean, you definitely probably gonna be prone to some COVID, right? and you don't know how your body is going to react. Some people are bouncing back like that, and some people are out like I was for 5 weeks. So, they're tuned in visually and listening online, and they're hungry. As they said, I was looking at the new phrase that they have, the great resignation. You heard of that?
Not yet.
Yeah, so it's people are resigning from their job because they're tired of it and they're looking for a new career. They're starting new careers. They have more of that type of movement happening right now than they have in decades.
Wow.
So I say, look, I'm not saying quit your job if you ain't got no other plans already set up, right? But I'm saying it's your time.
But if you need some direction,
yes,
you have the perfect woman of God right here in front of you to help guide you. She's doing amazing things. I'm sure she would be able to share some coaching experience that she has. So
yes.
I want to encourage you guys to get connected. While we have this opportunity and while it's fresh in my mind, I want you to share how they can connect with you before we jump on to some other conversation, because you've been touching on some stuff that need to be touched on today, because people need to know the power of networking, the power of collaborate, the power of leveling up and going to the next level, and to be intentional about those things that you want to do. Because we all have a purpose.
That we all look, tapped in my other side. Proverbs 18:16. God says, when you use your gifts, I'm summarizing, y'all. When you use your gift, he will put you at the seat of the table of great men. Do you understand the prosperity? Just in that comment, God is saying, if you walk in what I gave you from birth, if you walk in that gift, I will make sure that you are prosperous, that you make money, plenty of money. I often say the reason why people like Oprah and Steve Jobs and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and all those people, why do they do so well at what they do? Why are they billionaires? Look, I'm not saying they crookedness and some things that people do, but hey, I don't know their business like that. That's for God to make a judgment. And he says that in the Bible. We just read Psalms. But what it says about them is that they found their gift. Either they asked God to show it, reveal it, or whatever, but when they tapped into it, they stayed there. They stayed there. Bill Gates, look, started his business at an extremely young age, right? And I'm not saying people don't have help, but Oprah didn't. Okay, she's a billionaire. She found her gift, her voice, talking. She understood that was her gift. Sharing her message, sharing her story. She understood that. So she walked in that at an early age. She stayed there. She didn't let, and I have to say this, a lot of people own jobs. And so they may have a side hustle. But you need to make sure that you're tapping into your gifts, because sometimes we get caught up in a job stifling our gifts, and then we go home and we don't think nothing of the fact that we're not even using our gifts. Well, that's why you're miserable, right? Yeah, and some millionaires are miserable as well because they're not walking in their gifts. They're making money, but they're not really working in their gifts. When you tap into something God has gave you that you would do at a drop of a dime, you don't mind getting up and going and doing whatever it is, right? Because it's what you love to do. That's what a gift allows you to do. Think about the football players, the basketball player, the tennis player, all those athletes who are like, it's what I'm gifted at. It's my talent. And if I had to, in order to keep playing, I would play for free, right? Look at what's his name? Brady, Tom Brady. He's 44, almost 45. Look, still playing. He don't have to play. We all know he's making tons of money, right? But it's his talent, it's his gift. So he's like, yes, I would do this for free. Just let me stay out here. That's what it's about, y'all. So if you don't know what your gift is, then you know there's only one place you got to go. And you just ask God. I often say closed mouths do not get fed. And if you want to walk in that gift and you're not sure, or you're not sure what you're called to do or what your agenda is this year, ask him. Now you need to be ready, because when God gives, okay, he expects you to act on it. Faith without works is completely dead. So you need to act on it. So where you can find me, since you asked me that earlier, look, y'all, the best place to find all my information, free master classes, things like that, my conferences, Level Up, Power Up, all that's on there on my site, KearnCherry.com, KearnCherry.com. If you're looking, I'm not sure of my success, and some of my other ones are there, but you can always just shoot me an email and we'll send that right over to you. And as I said, we're doing call for speakers right now for Level Up. So you can go to the number 2, levelup.com, and click there, and you can sign up and click and say you want to be a speaker, because we're also doing speaker calls. We started last week. We're doing something every week. So let's go ahead and make that request as well. I am on most social media sites, either as Kearn Crockett Cherry or Kearn Cherry. So you can find me. I love Clubhouse. If y'all ain't on Clubhouse, there are people making tons of money over there. I know one of my friends just told me the other day she made 6 figures on Clubhouse. So utilize that platform. There's all sorts of ways to make your income. LinkedIn, making a lot of changes right now. But I love that platform before Clubhouse. So I'm just telling y'all, it is the place to be, especially if you're job hunting. You definitely want to be over there and get prepared to receive. Facebook, yes, all my platforms, all my conferences and stuff, my business, K Connection, PR and Home Care, all that's over on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, even Snapchat. Yeah, I'm just over on a lot of little platforms, sharing out and trying to make sure that I'm visible, right?
That's it. I was waiting for you to say that word. I was waiting for you to say that word. Yes. Visible, relevant, being visible and relevant. I don't care how many times people think you may be sharing too much. It is never too much when you got a brand at stake.
Come on, Angela.
It's never too much. I'm telling you, visibility is key.
Visibility for profitability, y'all.
You better say it one more time for them.
Visibility equal profitability. You know, how many times has it been said that people buy people? People buy people. I don't buy your product, y'all. If I don't like you, I don't care what you're selling, right? Okay. So I'm gonna, if I see you and I start to see you more, then I'm like, you know what? Let me see what she's selling. What's she coach on? Who is she? That's how you create interest. Being the best kept secret has never paid anybody or put anybody money in their pocket. And yes, God will bless you and take care of you. You giving your tithe and offering, trust me, he will make sure food is on your table and that you're doing fine. But if you want to elevate and take it to the next level, he gives you that ability too. But it's about sharing, giving those testimonies, telling people what you do, being seen. I don't know where people got this. I got to hide and work in secrecy. Well, you know,
I gotta move in silence.
Who moves? So who do we know that moves in silence, really? Angela, come on now. You know who moves in silence, and we all know he here all the way as well. But he ain't in my house because God got this covered. That's all I'm saying. Yes, and I want people to know what he's doing in my house. That's all I'm saying.
Jeremiah 29:11 will not return to him void. He said he had a plan for you to prosper you, for you being good health, for you to have hope in the future. His word is not going to return to him void. So know that the master plan has to come to pass. It's not going to return to him. So you got to do, like you said, you got to step out on faith and you got to put the work in, because faith without works is dead. You got to do the work. Come on.
Come on now. That's what I'm talking about. You got to do the work. God can take you to the door, but you got to open that door. You got to open that door. One of my favorite quotes, and I tell people all the time, you may go to the first door and the door might be closed, right? Try the next door. If that don't open, go around back. Okay, you might be able to see them in the back, but they still ain't open the door. Come around front, kick that door in, or better yet, create your own. He didn't give you just enough. He gave you more than enough. And if you ask him for more, he will give you more. All you have to do is ask. And all you have to do is turn that knob and walk through. When he opens that door, he will. I'm telling you. All you got to do is show up.
That's it. I was telling somebody one time before they was talking about sitting at the table. I said, if he just let me get my pinky toe in the dough, that's all I need. Just let me get my pinky toe in the dough. I ain't even got to sit at the table. If you let me get my pinky toe in the dough, I'm in there. That's all I need to know is I'm in there. And once I get in there, then he gonna do the rest.
He gonna open. Yes, look. And sometimes, y'all, I use this story when what you talking about. He gonna do the rest. Lord, and when we were getting our building back, it's been over 20 years now. And so we didn't have, I wasn't even looking for a purchase building. I was looking to rent a building, right? So we rented the building. Then a few years later, the banker calls and said, hey, we basically want to sell you the building. I'm like, I ain't got no money. She's like, well, see what you can do. I'm like, did she not understand what I don't have no money mean? Okay. Yeah. So, asked around, asked some of my kin folks, because for me, when I working in the home care business, my people payroll comes first. I don't put my desires above what I'm responsible for. And so anyway, so I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. So I asked my grandmother, who was living at the time, and she gave you the grandma rundown, right? But she eventually came up with, she just said, okay, I got you 5,000. All right. I'm like, on the building. All right, I'll take that and work with it. Anyway, I come back and the lady was like, she said, okay. I offered a 4. I ain't offered a 5, right? So anyway, I said 4. She said, okay, I'll tell you what you do. You show up with that money, and I need you to bring that article where you were featured in SM magazine. Make sure you bring that with you. I said, okay, I'll bring you a copy. So I brought it, and honey, they pushed that loan through. Do you hear me? That building is currently paid off. Hello. I had to show up.
All you got to do is show up. I was just telling somebody that today. If you show up, he gonna do the rest.
Yeah.
Because you've done what he asked you to do. And that's what you did. Yeah. You stepped out on faith.
Yeah.
He had no choice but to show up.
Exactly. And you know what? I really think to this day, I said, I don't think they thought we were going to pay that building off, because we actually had the notes almost doubled. And they probably were thinking there's no way they're going to finish paying this building. I'm like, even when we was down, God found a way for those payments to be made. I'm telling you, even in my worst years, he found a way. No, he can do anything. We know that. But he showed me it's taken care of. When I say something's for you, you don't need to worry about it. Just do what you're supposed to do. So that's the way you have to look at things. Show up. Be willing to take that leap of faith. Now, I'm not talking about what people call faith checks. Okay. No, I don't believe in that. Now, I don't believe in write blank checks. But I do believe if he give you something, he say, take them this, then you do that and you let him do the rest. Because that's what he just told you to do. So that I do believe in. So I'm just sharing with y'all. I've been in business 25 years. When I said I have seen peaks, and I want to say, y'all say a valley. I'm saying dig the hole into the valley and go down deeper. And I can tell you I've been there and still come up, right?
Wow.
That's what it's about. You just have to be willing to trust God and always give your 10% so he covers your household. Always.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Wow. And looking beautiful doing it. I tell you. I tell people all the time, I'm glad we don't look like what we've been through. And we
Exactly.
live to share our experiences. You definitely
Exactly.
have some experiences to share.
Yeah.
Um, we want to talk about that word legacy because you are definitely paving the way for many to come after you.
Mhm.
I want to know, what does that word resonate to you? What does it say to your soul?
Well, for me, I come out of a household where my mom she didn't have that opportunity. By the time she was early 40s, she had an aneurysm, and then 49, she had a stroke. And so, what she was able to do for me is to help me when this business, PR and home care, was taking off the ground. She was able to help me make sure that we had people there. If somebody didn't show up, she was willing to show up for us and cover that client and make sure that they were there. My husband's same family as well. They didn't have, things left to them, properties, monies, and all that kind of stuff. They just did not have that. And that's 5 in my family. He has 7 over on his. So again, even if you did have a house, you got to go through all that and extra just to make that happen. So for us, for me in particular, I saw it as part of it is I wanted to make sure, my husband and I both wanted to make sure that our kids were successful enough that no matter what happens to us, they have they are independently on their own, able to create their own wealth as well. So I actually have my son, who's the oldest. He has his own international moving company, Handy Dandy Moving Services, move you anywhere from anywhere. And then my 2 daughters, who decided to walk straight into their dad's, what he prophesied of, you're going to be doctors. And I'm like, how do you know they want to be doctors? He said, because I told them they're going to be doctors. And guess what? They're both doctors. The middle child is a medical doctor. She's a pediatrician and an internist at the University Medical Center in Jackson, Mississippi. And she's a residency right now. And then the youngest, she decided to tweak it a little bit. She's like, I don't know if I want to do all that kind of work, right? I'm like, whatever. She wound up working just as hard. But she actually, both of them went to UMC and graduated at the same time. And then the youngest decided she was going back to HBCU because they started at Alabama State. Alabama A&M, I'm sorry. They
All right,
started there.
you know.
And then she said, I'm going to Howard. I was like, okay. I love Howard, by the way.
Okay, Howard. They just partnered with Morris Brown. Woo, woo, woo.
Oh, yes, I love them. They are phenomenal. Now, it ain't cheap. But hey, she's an orthodontist now. So it really don't matter. And so they're able to literally grow their legacy out no matter what we do. But we started the home care business thinking of them in mind. And for me, growing the speaking industry and all the things that I do, I want to make sure that I bring my kids in, that they're sharing their story as well. Of course, I work on them all the time, but they haven't given in yet. But I plan to make sure that they're part of what we have and what we have grown. So I've been an entrepreneur for a long time now. And I hope that they understand that part of your gifts are allowed to grow more when you are an entrepreneur. So yeah, you may start out working for an entity, but you always want to end up being your own. Not necessarily, it's not about being your own boss, it's being able to create your own money, right? So I always tell people 7 streams of income, y'all. 7 streams. Now that don't necessarily mean 7 businesses, but 7 streams of income will allow you to move freely. When something isn't doing well, You go over here and work that other one harder. And then you just come back and make sure that, things are picking up when they do need to pick up, because you need to rely on your source of income from God. That is where most people fail. They're so busy making money for everybody else, and they don't find a stream that they can say, you know what, because of God is the reason why I'm able to bring in this revenue and bring in this income. I had to walk in my gifts to get here, and now I'm producing and I'm making an income. Now, if you're doing that, then I can say you are highly blessed. If you're not, you may be dealing with some struggles and frustration that you need to decide, how can I make sure I have a stream of income that God is the main reason why I get it. I often say my clients are my clients and they're a blessing, but I know it's God that sent them my direction. That's the way I feel about it.
That's it. That's it. Because he's given us gifts to impact this world. I tell you, people got Jeremiah 1:5 kind of twisted when they say we should prophesy to nations. They don't realize that it's those gifts and those talents that he's placed on the inside that should speak for us. We shouldn't have to open our mouth and say anything, but it's those gifts and those talents that should speak to the nation.
Yes.
Thank you. You are definitely moving in your gift, in your talents. You are definitely impacting the nations. I thank you for what you're doing. I want you to share um, exactly if you was to leave here today, what would you want that legacy to be like? What would you want people to say that you have done? How you impact their life?
Well, I want people to take from what I do is that I create opportunities for you to share your testimony. It is required by God that you give it so that He can get the glory. And I create that through my platforms that I have created, whether it's a conference, whether it's a book anthology. Eventually I'll get back to doing my shows and things like that as well. But whatever I do that increases your visibility is so that you can share your story, your testimony, and whether it's talking about your business or not. So I want to make sure that for where I'm at right now, that's what I want to make sure that I'm doing, that I'm creating people that opportunity. I use collaborations to do that and connecting to people. Yeah, I spend time studying and looking to make sure that I connect to new people of all over the world. It took me a while, Angela, to realize and to accept, I should say, to accept that a prophet is not appreciated in their backyard. I know we hear it, people say it all the time, but a lot of times we just don't accept that. We keep going back to the well and hoping that they would just say, that's the person. That's the person I need to get my stuff from. They see you all the time. I mean, I spent years and years and years in the community, volunteering, all that kind of stuff. And still, some of them would choose another brand of home care business over me. And here I am, the caregiver expert, giving you resources, giving you information, bringing you out, hosting a conference that's bigger than anything the Gulf Coast has had as far as conferences for women, and in the region, pretty much we're one of the largest in the nation. But it doesn't matter, because you know what God told me in 2020? Yeah, I need you to stop focusing on the local and start diving out in that global ocean, and stop with the pond stuff, right? So leave your local pond. You don't even have to leave physically. You can just get online and share it out to the world. You now have this platform, this internet that's been here the whole time. That's it. That's the sad thing. It's been here the whole time, right? But how many of us really were on the internet and sharing out our message prior to COVID? Yeah, we really weren't. I tell people all the time, most of y'all were doing like the rest of us. Let's just own it. You was speaking at church, sharing that message. You were going in the community, the local community,
Mm-hmm.
sharing that message. But how many of y'all were sharing out to the world? Do you know there's somebody in the world, in Canada, in India, in Africa? You know, there are people all over the world that need to hear what just you have. Your message. It could be the same. We could have the same message, but somebody needed to hear what I had to say and how I had to say it so that they can receive it. Some of these women that are sharing their domestic violence story right now, hats off to you. So many women needed to know your story, hear it the way you had said it, so they can save their own lives and their children and probably some other people's lives. They needed that. They need that. And so I look forward to the conversations that we have. One of my some of the people on my team are really good at sharing out and focusing on human traffic, domestic violence, child abuse, all that stuff that, just listen. I said my daughter's a pediatrician, just thinking about what she has to see sometime when it comes in, people come into the hospital and you just hear about these babies that, have suffered at the hands of their own parents, right?
Right.
Their own parents. And you're thinking, how do you reach those people? How do you reach that mom who let a man hurt her child or whatever, or vice versa, whatever it is? So that is what empowers me to continue to create these platforms for people to share out. When I was hearing about the kids not being able to go to school, I'm like, man, there are so many things that can be created from this. But I need to put some parents on and create a panel so they can talk about what they're looking for to help their kids. How many of our kids are suffering in silence? How many moms are suffering in silence right now because they got to figure out how to help their kids through. Y'all, what you don't know is my two youngest were homeschooled. Yeah, they weren't homeschooled by me because that's just not my calling. But I did have some friends that helped me with that. And I literally struggled like a lot of parents do, believing and wondering, will my child be able to make it through college on a homeschool program? You know what? They were better than average. They were really, the teachers used to tell us all the time, your kids are just awesome. I'm like, really? I'm just so thrilled to be able to share that you have other options. It's not okay to sit and hope and pray. What you need to do is take a leap of faith, even when it comes to your kids. So I had opportunities. Many people don't know that we drove down and visit Richard Williams' home in person. And he trained my daughters for 8 hours in one day. That man changed their stroke, their game, and their ability to take their game to the next level. One day. That's because my husband and I, stepped out on faith and said, we're going to drive down. And look, the first thing I did was I called the phone number that he had listed in the magazine. I was like, there is no way this could be Richard Williams, Serena, and Venus. Dad, do y'all know that man called me back? He called me back. And I was like, yeah, let me, I'm just sitting in shock on the phone thinking, I know this ain't no Richard Wood. He said, well, my daughters are playing Wimbledon right now. I'm like, yep, that's right. They're playing Wimbledon right now. So I'm going to have to call you back next week. And I'm like, you call me back anytime. Feel free. And then he called me back. He called me back, Angela. And he said, well, this is when y'all can come down. And da-da-da-da. I was like in a daze. In like, sometimes you like, this just can't be an opportunity. And it was for my kids, not for me personally, for my kids. And I tell you, it was life-changing, literally life-changing for my kids. Them two girls who went on to get full scholarships, full. I would not accept less. Full athletic scholarships. I did not want academics. I wanted athletic scholarships because they pay everything. And so, so that's what leaping out in faith. But being able to share that and have other people share their testimonies like that, that is what I'm looking for. That's the legacy that I want to leave.
And you're definitely doing that. You're definitely paving the way, and you have the stories and the experience to share with us, and that's legacy. That is now legacy. It's something that people can read about and share now. So
Yeah.
you are walking in legacy now. So I thank you for just being who God has called you to be. And I want to challenge you just to keep reaching for the stars. You keep
Yeah.
showing up, and He's gonna keep showing out.
Now, you know, I love challenges, right? I do have to say I'm very competitive. Even when I think I'm not, I am. So
I
yeah,
think we all have a little bit in us.
yes, it actually helps you to thrive. Create your. That's why you should set goals every year.
Exactly.
Every year around September through December, start making your plan for the next year. If you do that, you're going to find so much more success. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I used to be feet first. I could throw an event together, a conference together, and just go, go, go. But you know what's better is when you set goals and you actually start to check off those boxes and say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is my plan for 2022. So if you hadn't done that yet, go ahead and do it right now, where your mind can actually organize your year. Yeah, you may make tweaks along the way, but it helps you to get focused. We did a conference with Success called Fierce and Focus in November because we wanted to challenge women to set those goals, and it will help you to be fierce. Fierce. You'll be unstoppable when you do things like that. But you have to be willing to write them down. When you write stuff down, it's tend to come true. I tell people, write it down and pray over it and ask God to bless it. Now, when you ask God to bless it, now look, let me help y'all out. God is real. So if you're trying to figure that out, you still in doubt, talk to him. I have asked God for stuff, and I'm telling y'all, I was on a job and I was so mad. And I was like, you know what, God? If I'm not supposed to be here tomorrow, let me know. Guess what he did? He sent a manager in. A manager came in like a couple of days, literally, and said, "Hey, Kern, we're gonna go ahead and move you to the other facility." I was mad, but I couldn't really be mad because I had asked God to show me, and He showed me. This was your time to be moved. I needed to move on to another environment because it become a little toxic with the manager I was working under. And so he moved me on. And then he eventually moved me out of the company. So we now have our own home care company. But you have to be ready though. And then when he gives it to you, don't sit on it. Just walk in it. Walk in it. That's what a blessing is. When you believe God enough in faith to do exactly what He's got lined up for you, that's where your blessing is. That's where the riches are. That's why you see some of these people be complaining about ministers, they rich and all this stuff. Hello, they're moving in their calling, in their faith. Don't have it. You need to ask God what yours is.
Wow. You really touched on a lot today. I tell you, just listening to you in conferences and just listening to you on Facebook, today, just being able to talk to you and to hear you live was just so amazing. So I'm honored to have you here. Thank you for stopping by and sharing with me on today. I tell you, if you didn't touch anybody else, you touched me on today. So I'm grateful.
Well,
for you. But I know you've touched so many. I know you've touched so many today. So thank you.
thank you.
You're
What?
definitely a gift to many, and I thank God for you on today.
Well, I thank you for having this platform and for doing it. I know you had several interviews today, and you don't have to do what you're doing, but this is a blessing. And I read your posts, by the way. I often read where you're saying, I'm doing this for y'all so that y'all can become visible. I look at those posts and I'm like, yes, she is touching. She's really talking to people. And some people listen and some people don't. But you
I
keep
want them
doing
to understand, just like you're saying. That's all
it.
you've been sharing is visibility. I want them to understand whether it's with me or with somebody else. You need to be seen because you have a message. It's not by chance or by coincidence or by accident that you keep crossing the platform. You cross the platform because there's something that needs to come forth out of you. And
Yeah,
whether you do it with me or with the next person, like you said, everything that you've said today, I've said on this platform, but God brought you here to say it to them because somebody needed to hear that today. And
yes,
they needed to hear
yes,
it from you.
yes.
So I'm
Don't
just grateful for you.
I'm just gonna end with don't be those servants that were in Matthew. I think it's Matthew 25, talking about what is it? The talents.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the story about the master who gave the
Mm-hmm.
three
Mm-hmm.
servants, and then you had two. One was obviously really good because the master gave him the most talents, which was money in that chapter. And then he gave the second one probably a couple talents. And this was money, like I said, money. And then he gave the last one talent. And he told them pretty much in a nutshell to go out and to make him money while he was gone on his wherever, his vacation, whatever he was doing, right? But when he came back, the first one came up, he said, master, here I've taken you what you give me and doubled it. And the master was like, yes, yes. Now this man knew what I wanted, right? He knew what I wanted.
Right.
And then the second one comes in, and then he does the same thing. Master, I've taken your talent and I've turned it into more, double your money. Yes, that master was like, we're gonna have a party behind this, right? We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate this later. Thank y'all, you good servants. You will be rewarded. It will not, as you say, it doesn't return void. And so, therefore, he was going to celebrate them in. And then the last one comes in. He comes in and he said, Master, he had a story, Master, I took the talent. I only had one. So I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to come back with nothing. So I buried it. And here it is. Here's that talent back. The master looked at him like, So you knew that I was the kind of master that wanted some money back on my money, right? You knew that before I left. You knew that. You know me, right? Yeah. But yet you came back here and did nothing. You could have went to the bank and dropped it in the bank and let it draw a little interest.
Mm-hmm.
You could have done at least that. You didn't even do that. He said, get out of here. Basically, I'm going to deal with you. You are cast out. And he sent him out into the darkness where he was gnashing his teeth. And he knew the master was, hey, look, you got to pay, right? So don't be that servant. Don't sit on your gifts. Don't sit on your talent. God gave you those for a reason. And it is just shameful when I see people with so much gifts. I see people, that are creative and all these gifts. And what are they doing? They're sitting on their talent. They're sitting on their gifts and they're struggling and they're wondering why. Why am I struggling? Because you're not using your gift. You letting that job tie up every bit of your energy. When you come home, you ain't got nothing left. And if you got some left, which you should have had during this COVID time, because a lot of us had downtime, you still didn't use it, right? So God is like, well, I'm just going to say this, God, I can't speak for God, right? But the point is, don't let that be you sitting in front of him, our master. Don't be that. Don't be that servant.
Wow. You definitely said some powerful things today. And I want to encourage everyone to go over and follow you on your platform. So I want to thank you, Miss Sherry, for stopping by and sharing with us on today. You have truly been a blessing. So have a great rest of your evening. Um, Everyone, we're going to leave now. I'm going to do my closes, but I definitely want to thank you, thank you for stopping by and sharing with us on today.
Yes.
I want to thank you guys for stopping by and sharing another edition of Ladies of Legacy. I tell you, it has definitely been an honor and a privilege to share these amazing women that are touching lives. They're not just creating and leaving legacy, they are impacting and touching and making a difference in lives right now. Right now. So I want to encourage you guys to continue to support us, continue to tune in and hear some of these amazing ladies. I love you guys and thank you for supporting me. I am Angela Thomas Smith, the founder of AALAC, the African American Author Literacy Awareness Campaign. I'm also the CEO of Aspiring Authors Magazine, and my whole desire is to bridge the gap between brown authors all over this world and to touch on topics that's affecting our brown community. I love you guys. Be blessed.